Alright, we're back with another episode of TW Local to Global 1987. And we're booking the November 3rd episode of Fuel and the November 4th Ignition. So let's get right into Fuel. We're starting off with The Rock, GCW champion, cutting a promo, and out comes The Undertaker and Kane. And here's what's going to happen. The Undertaker is going to be facing The Rock next week, or not next week, next show, so Ignition. On Ignition, in the main event. And the winner of that match gets to choose the stipulation for The Rock versus Kane on pay-per-view. So The Undertaker is fighting for Kane, if that makes sense. So that's your main event for Ignition, Rock versus Undertaker. One more time, title not on the line. And the winner gets to choose the stip for Kane versus Rock. So 85. We get a tag match. Brian Pillman and The Godfather get the win over Chris Candido and Chris Jericho in a 12-minute, 27-second match. Pretty good. Gets an 84. Godfather was the weak link, but you know what? That's fine. Pillman with an 82. Chris Jericho with a 92. Jericho is ready to be a main event player. Candido with a 70. So not too bad. We'll take it. 84. Chavo Guerrero is backstage, and he apologizes to Juventud Guerrero for his promo on Ignition. He says he understands why Juvi won't lay down. He wants to be Cruiserweight Champion too. So he apologizes. They shake hands, and all is good within the Latino World Order. So 55. Alright, Steve Austin comes out, cuts a promo, and Ventura comes out, and he says, Austin, I have another opponent for you tonight. You're defending your Revolution opportunity once again in tonight's main event. So in 98, we got Grandmaster Sexay versus Super Calo, and Grandmaster gets the win with the Tennessee Jam. Decent match, 62. And afterwards, we got Too Cool dancing, as they usually do. Chris Kanyon cuts a promo next, and Taz ends up coming out. And at Resolution Before Revolution on pay-per-view, we're going to see Kanyon versus Taz in a street fight to officially decide who is the king of hardcore. So 62. Dean Malenko is backstage, and he's talking to J.J. Dillon. Of course, Teddy Long is with Malenko, so they're talking to J.J. Dillon. And Malenko is upset at the lack of opportunities he's getting. So he wants a match on pay-per-view, and J.J. says, no problem, you're going to get your match on pay-per-view, and it's going to be against a mystery opponent. So 62. Perry Saturn versus Road Dogg is up next. Perry Saturn gets the win over Road Dogg, thanks to that diving elbow. And Saturn with an 85. So 78 right here. And afterwards, the D-Generation X beat down Perry Saturn. And that's it. 61. We're backstage with the Texas Whippers, and they're talking to Commissioner J.J. Dillon, part owner of GCW. And J.J. Dillon announces a 3-on-3 tag match at Resolution Before Revolution. It's going to be Adrian Adonis, Bobby Duncombe Jr., and Henry O'Godwin. I believe it's Henry I took. Versus Dustin, Booker, and Benoit. 44. Shawn Michaels versus Bradshaw is up next, and Shawn gets the win via disqualification. Gets an 80, and afterwards we get a brawl with the two teams. And your main event, Eddie Guerrero versus Steve Austin, and Eddie could not defeat Steve Austin, so Steve Austin retains his opportunity at The Rock, or at the GCW champion, I guess, because if Kane wins the pay-per-view match, then it's going to be Kane versus Austin. But Austin gets the win. Unfortunately, they don't click, which is very unfortunate, but Eddie Guerrero, still, 77. We'll take it. Steve Austin is celebrating, and Jesse Ventura comes out, and he announces that Steve Austin's final opponent, the final man that Austin will put his opportunity against, will be at Resolution Before Revolution. And it will be Jesse Ventura himself. So we're getting Ventura versus Austin on pay-per-view. So 96. Gets an 88. And, yeah, good amount. Alright, we still got Ignition to book, and The Rock versus The Undertaker is the main event of that one. So we're going to get into Ignition in just one moment. I'll be right back with the results. Alright, second show of today's episode. We are on Ignition. We're starting off with Jesse Ventura cutting a promo, and out comes Steve Austin. They're facing off on pay-per-view, which is next episode, I believe. Yes. So, what's going on in this promo? Well, we announced a stipulation for Austin versus Ventura. It's going to be a last man standing match on pay-per-view. And of course, Austin's opportunity at The Rock or at Kane, or whoever the GCW champion is going to be by that time, at Revolution, is on the line. So 88. We got Juventud versus Billy Kidman. Chavo Guerrero was on commentary for this match. It's alright if they clash horribly. Chavo is not staying on commentary, so Juvi gets the win over Kidman, and Chavo talks about Juvi the whole match, and it's like, oh yeah, I got him, no problem, I can beat him. 72. We got an interview with Booker, Benoit, and Dustin. They're talking about the Texas Whippers on pay-per-view, and they are going down. So 69. The Godfather is once again trying to get Sonny to become his new hoe, but of course Sonny refuses, and she slaps the Godfather, and that's it. 48. Taz gets a backstage promo on Canyon, of course, talking about how he is the king of hardcore, and Canyon is just another victim for Taz. Beat me if you can, survive if I let you. 54. Dean Malenko gets a win over Grandmaster Sexay. Malenko has been talking about wanting more opportunities. Well, he gets to face off against one member of Too Cool and gets the win. Gets a 70. An 87 for Malenko. Texas Cloverleaf gets the win. Too Cool try to dance a little bit after the match, but then Dean Malenko jumps them with a chair and beats down all three members of Too Cool. So 68. The former Intercontinental Champion, multiple-time GCW World Champion, it's Brian Pillman, and he's cutting a backstage promo on facing Chris Jericho in a rematch on pay-per-view for the Intercontinental Championship that he lost to Jericho at Halloween Hell. And Pillman talks about how Chris Candido was the reason that Jericho retained the title. There is no other reason Jericho can't beat Brian Pillman, and Brian Pillman's going to prove that on pay-per-view. 91. We got Shawn Michaels and Triple H cutting a promo, and out comes the number one contenders to the World Tag Team Championships. It's Bradshaw and Farouk, and they're looking for those tag belts, of course. On pay-per-view, these two teams will be facing off. And yeah, just a little back and forth here. It gets an 81. Our main event, The Rock versus The Undertaker, with the winner getting to choose the stipulation for The Rock versus Kane on pay-per-view. And The Rock gets the win in this non-title match. The GCW champion still looks strong heading into the pay-per-view, which is next episode, so we still got one fuel, one ignition to go. There was, however, interference for The Rock, helping him get the victory. It is Syndicate member Ken Shamrock coming out, costing Undertaker the match, hitting him with a chair or something, and leading to The Rock getting a quick roll-up. So gets a 91. And afterwards, to end the show, we've got Kane coming down and brawling with the GCW World Champion, The Rock. An 88 for Ignition. It's not too bad. And our popularity keeps going up, so that's good. As we get closer and closer to Revolution in December. And the brand split, too. Yeah. Alright, let's see what's going on here. Scotty 2 Hottie's pretty good. Okay, we got some fatigue, that's fine. We also signed Michael Cole, who's going to be a new interviewer for the time being. Michael Cole is going to be taking the role of Gene Okerlund on the other brand. So whatever brand Gene's on, Michael Cole is going to be on the other one. Here are the champions. If you were curious, The Rock is still the GCW World Champion. He's been holding it for 236 days. Cruiserweight Champion is Chavo Guerrero, the current 4-time champion. Intercontinental Champion is Chris Jericho. U.S. Champ is Chris Benoit. He's the only man to have held this belt. The World Tag Team Champions are still Triple H and Shawn Michaels. They have had the longest reign since we've been on TW 2020 and TW 9. I don't know who would have gotten a longer reign. Probably Brian Pillman and Steve Austin. The Hollywood Blondes. They have the longest reign if I'm correct. Anyway, that's going to do it for today's episode. Make sure to like if you like this video. Subscribe if you want more. We'll see you guys in the next one where we will be booking the November 10th Fuel, November 11th Ignition, and Resolution Before Revolution pay-per-view. Make sure to go check out WCW Rebooked, or Trying to Save WCW 2000. The first episode came out yesterday. So make sure to check that out. We got another episode of WCW coming out tomorrow. So stay tuned for that one. We'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good one. Goodbye.